Hello and welcome to a brand new tips and tricks video. Today we're going to be doing a bit of a beginner's guide, and we're going to be specifically looking at what to do before you even unpause the game. Now when you load up a game, this is the screen that welcomes you. Now of course CK3 you play as a character, and today we're playing as this character, Duke Gilhelm the 8th of Aquitaine. Now within CK3 you also play as a family, so but you only play as one person at a time. So I'm playing as Duke Gilhelm at the moment, but when I die, I'll play as my heir, Anus. Here you can see your extended family. You've got my spouse up here. You've got my children, you've got my siblings, and everything there. This character screen is one of the most, things you'll be clicking on a fair bit throughout your campaign. As you can see here, we have we've got our age, our health, which is very important to keep an eye on. You've also got your sexuality, important for how many children you're going to have. You also have your personality traits are cynical, impatient, wrathful, and you can see all of the little traits beneath them, as well as your education. Now, what is an education? Every person, when they reach the age of 16, will get an education. So my child does not yet have it. However, to get an education for children, we'd have to go to, right-click on them, educate child, and you know what? I'll be their guardian. Now, guardian is a position of the educator, and the ward is the person who's been educated. As you can see here, they've got their own descriptions, and I will basically choose for them what type of education here in the education focus. Now, I am personally an intriguing person. You can see this by my intriguing symbol there. Now, but however, Anus, she has a personality here. She is a pensive person, so that means she's got a bonus towards stewardship and learning, so she'll be better at these two things. Now, what else do you have on the screen? You've got your own traits here. Now, these traits are the bedrock of the whole of Crusader Kings 3. Every character has traits no matter how young or old they are, and this reflects what you're good at in-game. Now, diplomacy, well, it's all pretty self-explanatory. It says here, if you were to, it's your diplomatic skill, how much people like and people get on with you. You've got your martial ability here, which is kind of how good at fighting you are, which, of course, very, very important. You've got your stewardship here, which is how good you are at looking after a realm. You've got your intrigue, which is how good you are at doing scheming and intriguing. And then you've got your learning here, which is if you want to be a learned man or very much pious. These are the things you have here. Now, you've got a sword here. This is prowess. This is how good you are at fighting, specifically in like one-on-one combat. I can see here we've got a base of 7, which isn't too bad, but prowess here is, it says, we can hover over it and it'll show you what it is. Now, everyone else in this game has a religion. Here we see Catholic, and they have a culture, which is Aquitaine. If you click here on the culture map mode, you can see kind of the peasantry and what the counties within Crusader Kings 3 have, and we are, of course, ruling over here are Aquitaine. Click back to the realms map mode. We are, you may see, a duke. What does this mean? Well, there are multiple tiers of ruler you can play as in Crusader Kings 3. There are 4 tiers specifically. There is a count, so a count like this, Count Giro. You can also play as a duke, such as ourselves. We can also play as a king, King Philippe of France, or you play as an emperor. Of course, there are gender neutral versions of those available. As you can see here in the map modes, each one is above the other. For example, we are a duke. If we click on us, we have this line going from the king, which means we are paying him money, essentially. But you can see, if we zoom in a bit, we've got these white lines coming from our counts. We are their liege. They bend the knee to us, but we bend the knee to the king. This is a feudal society that we are playing within, so that is how it works, really. And you can see on the map mode the title, the de jure counties of each title. For example, Aquitaine, these are de jure lands associated with it. We can see here the counties within my realm and the de jure counties of the Duchy of Aquitaine. So if we want to create the Duchy of Aquitaine, I would need to have a majority of these titles. If I was to try and get the Auvergne, we would need 50% of the de jure counties, of which we own none. And there are only 4, so you need over 50%, which means you need 3. Now, of course, the same is, but at a bigger level with kingdom level titles, the Kingdom of Aquitaine, for example, we need 50% of the de jure counties, which is, we would need 19, and we only have 18 because there are 37 de jure counties to create that title. And again, if we go up one more tier to Empire title Francia, we are nowhere near that. We need 80% of the county, so different from duchy, or kingdom, you need 80% of the de jure counties, which would be 88 from 109 only own 18. Now, of course, if you're an emperor, you can have kingdom levels bending the knee to you, and when you're king, you can have duchy bend the knee to you. When you're duke, you can have counts bend the knee to you. Those are all of the playable ranks. What else do we have here? We have, oh yes, we have titles again. We are duke, but we also have these county titles. These are all owned by us, so it will give us income and men. For example, we go to La Rochelle. We can see it gives us tax. It gives us, well, it's got levies, and it gives us supply limit. We can see what buildings we have here. Now, if you want to click on any county in the game, you can do. Just click it, and it will show you these now. These markings here, what do they mean? They are different holdings. As you can see, Limousin is split up with these dotted lines. Each county has multiple holdings. Here we can see we've got a castle holding type here. You can see holding type just up there. But then we've actually got two no holding types. There's blank. Nothing is built in there yet. And of course, you can construct a new holding, but it would take, well, I can see here, it would take quite a lot of money or what have you. But it is possible. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we are going to have a look up here to this tab. Now, we've got a couple of things over here. We've got gold. Now, gold is probably one of the most important things in this game, just as in real life, really. And you'll probably be micromanaging this the most throughout your campaign. As you can see here, it is split into income and expenses, as well as your amount of gold that you have. Now, domain is, again, the counties that you rule, as detailed here, how much money they're giving you. Vassal taxes, they are the people underneath you. So in my case, it's the counts underneath me, as well as the other minor titles. So, for example, the mayor here. What does the mayor? Well, who are mayors? Well, again, every county has some holdings here. We've got a castle type holding. We've got a temple type holding, which would mean we'd have a bishop or a suffragan bishop here. But they've also got a city holding, which would be ruled by a mayor. And of course, all of these, well, this mayor and this bishop will pay taxes to the count, and then because I own counties who also have their independent, for example in La Rochelle, that's not a good example, in Saint-Yong we have here a bishopric here, he'll pay to me, and we have a city on Saint, this mayor will pay to me. Now, gold is very important because you need it, for example, for upkeep of your army. You'll need it for upkeep, as you can see here. It'll have your upkeep for your army. We'll get to all of that later. We have prestige next. Again, this is how famous you are in a feudalized society character. This isn't particularly important, but if you're playing tribal, then it is relatively important. But we don't have to really worry about this too much. It's based off diplomacy and as well as various bits and bobs. For example, counties, duchies, foreign affairs, and you can get some from events as well. The next one is piety. This is how pious you are, and of course religion is very important in this game, as it was in medieval society, and being very pious gives you a good bonus as opposed to, for example, dutiful, no effects. But if I go up a level, I'll become faithful, which gives me +5 clergy opinion, which, you know, is quite important. And now the tree here next to us is renown. Now this links back to our family. It's kind of the currency used for family. Now I'll click on my family. We're the House of Poitiers. We have a dynasty splendor. We are completely insignificant, but which gives us, you know, some bonuses, but not particularly much. But we're going to noteworthy, which gives us better bonuses. We need dynasty splendor here. Splendor 806 of 1,000. Now, how do we get that? Is we get that by getting renown. We need to increase our renown. So we can open up. You see, legacy here is these dynasty legacies are they are a perk tree within itself for families, which everyone within your extended family will get. For example, if I was to get this activities, everyone in my family will get grand weddings cheaper, bonus acceptance, and lieges who like me can get a strong hook. There you go. And that is the currency of that. They get that various ways. For example, having living members, which means having lots of children with patriarchal marriages to your family, be very important, as well as having titles within your family. The next tab, again, very important. Your soldiers, again, you can look at them better in a different tab, but this is, again, one of the most important things you will have in your game. Now, we've got our domain limit here. This is, again, very important. We are over our domain limit. This is because we do not have enough stewardship. Our stewardship isn't great or isn't enough for the amount of titles that we want to have. I can see here we've got 4 domain limit because we're 2 being a duke, 1 because of our culture, and 1 for our stewardship, which means we are over, which means yeah, we're going to be getting a debuff to a lot of our stuff. Now let's go down this tree here, and at the top we're starting with the realm. Again, this is just another place to see a lot of things. This just has crown authority there, which is probably quite important. And again, it kind of is the amount of centralization that you have over your vassals and within your realm. Here is kind of a breakdown of your own domain. Again, it gives you, this is the duchy they hold, and this is the counties within that. This is the duchy I hold, the counties within that, and it gives you the amount of men and the amount of taxes that it gives you. Vassals, again, here's a list of your vassals, and again, you can kind of choose which kind of vassals or how you want to sort them out. You can see again how much levies, how much men, and how many taxes they are giving to you, as well as their legitimacy, and their stats here are quite a concise place. But here we have succession. This is probably one of the most important parts, as you play as a family at the end of the day, which means upon my death I'll play as my daughter. But these are the succession laws, of course, very important. We've got partition, but you can, when you research stuff, go for primogeniture, which is probably the best one, but you can switch it up here. They all have a description. Again, there's a gender law here, which you can change as well. And there is a designated heir when you get to absolute crown authority, but don't have to worry about that too much just yet. Military is probably one of the most well-used tabs you'll have in your playthrough. Here you can raise your armies up at the top, but also if you are tribal and pagan, you'll be able to raise your armies as raiders up here just next to it. You can see your levies. This will make up the bulk of your army. They're essentially peasants. They're being conscripted into fight for you. They are actually, by their stats, absolutely stinky, but it is what it is. You can see your knights here, which are kind of characters, named characters. For example, my spy master, my vassals, my family, all who have a prowess, which is how good they are at fighting, which we how effective they are in battles, and they can all fight for me and make a part of my army. Now here we have our men-at-arms. These are your professional soldiers, and we'll be doing kind of the best soldiers you'll have in your army. You can see here we've got some pikemen. Each, well, you can create regiment at arms, and each regiment, you see how they counter different things. They have different damages, toughness, they have different stats, they have different terrain effects, and you really have to mold your regiment as in accordance to where you are playing on the map, but also who your enemy is going to, and it's very much a personalized thing you're going to be doing. But especially towards the mid to late game, they're going to become very, very important. And at the bottom you have your rally point, which is where you will raise your troops when you go to war. So if I just click here, you can move it to close to the front line or further away, depending on where you're going to be fighting. And then right at the bottom you have your reinforcement. This is your economic stats, where you are going to be seeing at the moment monthly maintenance. You're just paying a little bit in unraised men at arms, but when you have everything raised, levies and your men at arms, that's what you're going to be paying with everything raised. Now let's go to the next one, council. This is again quite an important tab. Here you have your wife, who is, when you're married, you'll always have, well, your spouse will be on this council, and you can give them a various amount of rules. Depending on how good they are or how bad they are, they could really help you out or hinder you. And you can choose what they do. Assist ruler is kind of gives you a base of each, while you can specialize. I'll just give you these from each. Now you have your bishop here, which is tied into the learning stat. These can give you another well, this is always your court priest, depending on what religion you are, because with Christian it's a bishop, but if you were to be pagan, Viking for example, go to Eric the Heathen. He has a, if I can find it, a Hofgothy there, because that is the court priest of their religion. You also, and they have lots of jobs that they could do, and you can see here if they endorse you or not. If they have a positive opinion of you, then they will give you money. If not, then they'll give their money to the Pope instead, which we do not want at all. Now here we have our Chancellor, which is connected to the diplomacy stat, and again they have jobs they can do. Got a steward, which is very much for the stewardship stat, and that's very much jobs they can do. Marshal, again with the marshal, and spy master with the intrigue. It's all very self-explanatory, it all ties in, but you want to try and utilize their jobs. For example, if I was to be trying to do schemes against people, I could put them off away from disrupt schemes, from, well, protecting me, to support schemes, which could be giving better stats for me trying to get on other people. Now here Let's go to our courtiers. Here we have all court positions. Again, this may differ depending on what DLC you do or do not have, but this is where you'll find all of your jobs, people you can just recruit in, and again, a lot of these are tied to stats. For example, court position is tied to learning, while let's get master of the hunt would be to martial, and you can see with the color coding there. Now again, you've got a list of all my courtiers here, and then prisoners, when you have any, will appear here. So quite nice to keep track of them, but maybe not the best of tabs, but there it is. The next one is intrigue. Here is it's just a list of all the things you have going on: personal schemes, discovered schemes, hostile schemes. But I'll play more important. You've got your hooks and secrets. Here are the hooks you hold, the secrets linked to your hooks on you, and your secrets is just a nice list here, which is all in one place. And if you're playing an intriguing character, it can be absolutely abused, used and abused. Now here's your factions. Now because I am a lord with people below me, they have the ability to join factions against me, but currently there are no factions targeting me. But because I am a vassal of my king, there are also factions against him that I can also see, but I could also create ones if I wanted to, and let's just leave that. We're not going to do that just yet. We go next to decisions. This is probably the most important tab, I would say, in the game. You probably, because anything like the major decisions that you want to do, for example, founding a new kingdom, consecrating a bloodline, or even paying homage, founding a holy order, this is where you find everything. If you have a ability to create a special kingdom or empire, it will appear here as well. You've got the objective stuff that everyone has access to, for example, search for physician, invite knights or claimants, but other than that, any special things that are special to your culture or religion will appear up here as well. Now go down to activities. Again, this was flushed out with the Royal Court DLC and the Tours and Tournaments DLC as well. We have, all the activities we can do. We can go to Grand Tour, Grand Tournament, Grand Wedding, Feast, Hunt, and Pilgrimage, and you're also notified when you can join tournaments. These are things that you can hold that will, again, it tells you everything as a description. For example, here we can have piety, legitimacy, stress. We can have hunt. We may kill something, but you may gain prestige, legitimacy, and then lose stress. Feast, however, you may gain prestige and legitimacy as well as opinion. So it depends really what you want to do is what you need to do. And the bottom thing here is a royal court. Now this is only a thing if you are a king or an emperor, and essentially a new mechanic, but it isn't, to be honest, that most important. Now up here we have a few things. What do these mean? Well, just hover over it, it will tell you. You've got activity available, Grand Tournament, you can right click to get rid of it. Grand Tour available, right click to get rid of it. Now here we have a lifestyle. Now a lifestyle is, again, you can pick of all of the perks. You've got your stewardship, martial, diplomacy, and what have you here. You can pick which ones. Now because of my intrigue, education, I get 20% bonus to intrigue. So if we go back to my character, this is my intrigue education. I would have got this when I was 16 years old, and you can see it gives me +4 intrigue, but also gives me monthly intrigue lifestyle experience. And going to click on this, this will basically give you access to a load of perks, and if you want to be this kind of character, this will let you be that character. For example, if I want to be very much sweeten the deal with a lot of people and maybe try and go and seduce people, I'll take the temptation focus and then take the seducer tree. That's what I'll do. That's how my playthrough is going to go if I decided to it. And now here is a notification that I'm above the domain limit here, of course, which ties into your stewardship. We can do right click away with that. Now I've got here, this is kind of a tab which shows you all of the kind of minor things that are going to be happening. So I click on this, it shows me I'm not employing a court position. You can station a men-at-arms regiment, you can declare various wars, I can create the Duchy of Armagnac, I can create an accolade, my sister Beatrice can marry, I can negotiate an alliance, and a few nice potential alliances. So this is kind of a minor thing. You want to probably kind of keep an eye on this, and please be mindful that when you click on it, it will now go 0 because you've read all of those messages, but they may still be undone. But that is a brief introduction to Crusader Kings 3. I hope you found that useful, and got any questions, please let me know in the comments down below. But if you have enjoyed, please subscribe to the channel. It really does mean the absolute world to me. Thank you very much for watching once again, and I will see you in the next one.